Today, the world is ruled by numbers. Banks, corporations, governments all make their biggest decisions by looking at a single page, a financial statement. But no one truly knows where these statements came from, or how they became one of the most powerful weapons in history. A monk, a banker, an empire, and scandals that shook nations. Financial statements aren't just reports. They are the product of centuries of manipulation, ambition, and the silent battles fought in the shadows of money. So who created this system? And when did these numbers first begin to decide the fate of millions? This is the untold, dark history hidden behind the numbers. Welcome to Financial Chronicle, where we uncover the true financial stories behind power, money, and history. In 1494, in the narrow streets of Venice, a Franciscan monk named Luca Pacioli wrote a book that would silently change the world. The double entry system, the foundation of every modern balance sheet, was born in a dim, candlelit room. But why did this system spread across Europe so quickly? Was it truly for trade, or was it the perfect tool to hide the truth? The Medici bankers were the first to recognize its power. By recording debts, profits, and royal loans, they weren't just tracking money, they were shaping politics, wars, and kings. And with the rise of banking came something darker, the first beautified financial statements. And which crisis did this beautification lead to? In 1345, Florence's greatest banks collapsed. Why? Because England's king defaulted on massive loans. The numbers written in the ledgers were nothing more than illusions, and an entire city paid the price. Did Europe learn from this disaster, or was another empire waiting to repeat it? In the 1600s, the Dutch Republic became the world's financial powerhouse. Companies began publishing early versions of income statements to attract investors. But profits were inflated, losses were hidden, speculation exploded. And in 1637, the world's first financial bubble burst. Would England fall into the same trap? In 1720, the South Sea Company manipulated profit sheets and lured the entire British elite into a dream of endless riches. Members of Parliament invested blindly. Even the king's inner circle joined. And when the truth emerged, Britain fell into chaos. But across the Atlantic, a new empire was watching. What lesson would America take from this? At the dawn of the 20th century, J.P. Morgan used financial statements not to understand companies, but to control them. By examining their balance sheets, he decided which corporations would survive and which ones would disappear forever. And where did this control lead the United States? In the roaring 1920s, companies inflated their earnings to attract investors. Assets were exaggerated, debts were buried, and millions trusted numbers that were never real. When the deception collapsed in 1929, the world plunged into its darkest financial night. How did America respond to this disaster? In 1933, the United States created the SEC. For the first time in history, companies were legally required to report truthful financial statements, but regulations couldn't stop human greed. So what was the biggest lie that slipped through the cracks? In 2001, Enron built hundreds of fake companies to hide billions in debt. Balance sheets were engineered like illusions. Profits were fabricated. Executives got rich, while employees and investors lost everything. It became the greatest accounting fraud in modern history. And how did this scandal reshape the system we live in today? Today, every country, every corporation, and every bank depends on financial statements to survive. But history shows us one truth. Numbers are never just numbers. They can build empires, destroy nations, or hide the darkest secrets. So who mastered financial statements better than anyone in history? And which empire ruled the world using nothing but numbers? That is a story for another day.